Y'all good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah, something popped up.
there we go. Hi, Erin.
Recording. Hi.
So this is all new to us. This is our first ever Skype recording of the Totally Everything podcast. Erin and I are practicing social distancing. I think
Coronavirus.
I think she's applying makeup. Are you applying makeup? Is it?
No, it's just some like lip chapstick.
Oh, lip chap from Safari. You remember lip chap?
What?
You don't remember lip chap?
No.
Okay,
From
so
like Safari, like Flavor of Love?
yeah, Flavor of Love season 2, Safari.
Yeah.
When her and Houston, I think Houston was her name, when they got into a fight, they were secluded off into another area of the house. And Houston, I think, was like praying or something. I don't know. Or no, it was Safari that was praying. She was like,
Yeah, she was like, "Dear God, forgive me for trying to beat this girl's ass, and dear God, forgive me for thinking about doing it again."
And then like Houston stopped her. I was like, "Is that really necessary?" And she was like, "Yeah," or something. I don't know. And then she offered Houston. Safari offered Houston, "You want to try some lip chat?" Which is like Safari's own chapstick line.
Well, that's nice of her. That was very nice.
Oh God. Well, Erin, how have you been during this coronavirus quarantine thing?
I'm convinced that I've already had it and got better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this. There was this thing going around, Facebook, social media. So who knows how, accurate or truthful it is. But so like people like our age, if we had been sick in November with like any of like the coronavirus symptoms, like a cough or a fever or like like body aches, like around like October, November, like if you're our age and we're sick around that time, there's a pretty good chance that that's like what you were sick with.
And now
conspiracy theories.
Let me preface this. It's during this time, it's only right that every podcast starts off with a talk about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So in old
That's
fashioned,
all anyone's talking about. That's all anyone wants to hear about.
Right. Yeah, I guess before we dig any further, this is the Totally Everything podcast, episode 70 here. Yeah. We are making history here right now. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and follow the whole podcast as a whole. And I got some news for you after I tell you this. Follow the podcast as a whole at TE Podcast 118 on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I_am_remix. Erin, where can the listeners find you at?
You can find me on Snapchat at Yannick_youth. And you can...
Backwards.
What?
You said Snapchat, Yannick Youth.
Oh. Well, you can also find me on Instagram at Yannick_youth. And on Snapchat, every time I say it, I have to stop and think about the proper way to say it. Snapchat at Erin_Bertolini.
All right. So, and before we dig any further into the coronavirus, I did something on Facebook like a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. I paid to have us advertised. We got a couple new likes from people I don't even know.
Interesting.
We got some new listeners. I know this one girl I work with. I know her. I just never really worked with her or whatever.
Yeah.
But she became my mailer, and I told her that I have a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Did she start listening?
She even started listening. Yep.
Okay,
so
sorry.
Whenever you get to episode 70, you're introduced. Shout out. You're welcome.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, Facebook. I promoted ourselves. I'm thinking about getting some like business cards or whatever, and like leaving them all around the world.
Oh yeah.
Spreading the coronavirus that way.
That's like guerrilla marketing.
Exactly. Like you just like you're walking around Walmart and you see this business card. Oh, Totally Everything podcast. What is that?
No.
You read,
we're going to leave it in places a little classier than Walmart, Tommy.
fingers crossed.
We're gonna leave them in Target, okay?
Target.
Yeah.
So, okay, so yeah, coronavirus. If you felt sick back in November or December, more than likely you had it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how true that is. Like, I was 100% sick, like a few weeks before Thanksgiving, with like a terrible cough and like a fever and like aches and chills and like I went to like the little clinic and they did like a strep test and a flu test and those are both negative and they're basically just like, yeah, it's some virus, like you'll get over it on your own. And I was just like, okay. And like, didn't think anything of it until say like March of this year when I'm like, oh fuck, like, that's very suspicious.
yeah. Now, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So okay, where was I? I forget what week it was, but I noticed I started to like come down with a fever or something. I was just like, okay, I'm going to take some ibuprofen, Tylenol, Alka-Seltzer, whatever. I'm going to knock this fever out because I'm not about to be having this fever during this time. So,
when was this?
This was, oh God, I can't even remember.
Like recently?
This was like within the month of April.
Oh.
Like early April, I want to say.
Oh, no.
And so I went to work. I was fine. The fever was gone because I knocked it out like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I do? I went to work. And you know how I have like my plethora of Bath and Body Works lotion?
Yeah.
I take a lotion with me every day to work just so I can keep up on my hand moisturizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially all like the hand sanitizing and hand washing. My hands are dry as fuck all the time.
Yeah. So me using Bath and Body Works hand lotion, there was a day where I couldn't smell the lotion, and I was just like, "Well, that's weird."
Oh no, that is weird. That's one of the symptoms.
So I didn't even realize it at first, but I just passed it off. I was like, maybe it's just today or something. So the next day, I had a different scent of hand lotion, and I was just like, well, dang, I still can't smell it. What's going on?
Oh my God. Tommy, you had shit. You had it.
I just got back from lunch break, and I was telling my other friend, Kim, that there's two Kims. So shout out to the other Kim now. I was telling my friend Kim that I was like, I can't smell my hand lotion. What's wrong? She's like, oh my God, Tommy, loss of sense and taste are symptoms of the virus. And I'm just like, well, I just got back from lunch. I swear I could taste my food. But I also had one of those Rain energy drinks. And I was drinking it right after lunch. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't taste the flavor of this Rain.
Tommy?
So I was like stressing out hardcore. And I finished the workday. I was just like,
Are you wearing like masks and stuff like at work?
Not at the time, but we were wearing gloves.
Gloves don't do shit. Gloves don't do shit because you're still touching your face with your nasty ass gloves.
Yeah, I mean, like I changed them out like every break or whatever that we had. But so yeah, what was going on was that I finished the workday, but then I went to the hospital right after work.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I was just like, I'm not going to be doing this. And besides, we could get like up to 10 days of sick pay or whatever.
Hey.
So, well, I'm going to take my week off or whatever.
Nice.
So that's what I did. I went to the hospital. I told them my symptoms because I also had a runny nose just a day or two after I got rid of that fever. And then I also noticed.
Is that a symptom?
Yeah, a runny nose.
Yeah.
And shortness of breath. Like the day before I couldn't, or the day I noticed that I couldn't even smell, I remember taking deep breaths because I was just like, why is it so hard for me to breathe right now?
Oh my God.
So I went to the hospital, told them all my symptoms, and they were just like, well, do you have asthma or diabetes? And I'm just like, no. And they're just like, well,
we all have diabetes. Like, don't even ask me that. Like, of course I have diabetes.
Well, I'm surprised. I don't know if I have it for sure or not, but as far as I know, I'm not literally diagnosed with it or whatever, professionally diagnosed with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, diabetes or coronavirus?
diabetes. So I told them that I don't have asthma or diabetes, and they were just like, well, because you don't have any underlying health conditions such as those two things, you could go to the testing place where they are testing people if they have the virus or not. But my chances of getting through, since I don't have any of those underlying health conditions, were slim because they're not going to prioritize me above the people that do have those.
Sure.
And since there's so many limited tests in Ohio, they're not going to test someone who isn't like at risk as much as someone else who may be. So they just told me to assume that I have it. And they gave me...
Oh my God.
Yeah, like, you should have seen my face, too. I was just, like, eyes wide open. Like, did you just tell me what I thought? Like, that's very...
have plague. It's fine.
You just told me to assume that I have, like, a deadly sickness, disease, whatever. So they gave me a work note or whatever, like they approved for me to be off work for this week or whatever. So I took that week off. I was fine. Like I had
like got over it. Like
yeah. I mean, by the end of the week, like literally just a day or two before I went back to work, my smell came back. I'm pretty sure my taste wasn't gone for that long, but I know I started to get my smell back.
I'm sorry.
Up to you're good. Up to before I returned to work though. But I'm telling you, the first part of the week, like I was prepared and everything. It was weird. I had all the groceries I needed. Like I didn't even have to go to the store after the hospital to prep or anything. It was just I was prepped, I guess. Lucky me. So
Jesus. Yeah, honestly, like from my very unprofessional opinion, it does sound like you had it. Ew.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so like, did you have to like tell like your workplace like, yeah, they said like to treat it as though I have this? Like, did they have to like
basically
like, inform all the employees or whatever?
I think when this whole lockdown thing happened, or when they enforced that, they handed out the plant manager's number and the HR lady's number. They're like, you can like request days off ahead of time, but if you're like immediately calling off that night or whatever, they require you to get a hold of the plant manager and the HR lady as soon as possible. So that's what I did. I called them. I told them I wasn't tested, but they told me to assume that I have it. So, but they also gave me this week off to quarantine myself, make sure that I'm good before I go back again. So that's what I did. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better because that's honestly really scary. And like they say that like young people like we're fine, and like it's if we get it, it's like fine and not a huge deal, but like it can be. So
yeah. See, I mean, I wasn't even worried either. I was just like, well, I'm going to be quarantining myself off. Like I literally did not leave my house for a week. So like the beginning of the week, let me tell you, it was fine and dandy. I was having a heyday. Like, okay, let me catch up on all these shows. I binge watched. What is it? I binge watched X on the Peak. I got The Circle on Netflix. I got Love is Blind. I think I've already finished that though. I just binge watched so many shows. I am so caught up on my shows now. But let me tell you, near the end of this week that I was quarantined, I was going stir crazy. Like it was thinking about it just is making me going crazy right now.
No, I know what you mean.
But yeah, it was. I went live. I'm sure you saw something about it. I had like what was it? I posted on Facebook like that day. I was like, I'm doing a live Q&A later. This live Q&A turned into like a 2-hour live because I was that bored. I needed social interaction. I was just like, someone talk to me.
I don't think I saw that. Where was I?
It was for a 2-hour live, I'm sure. Like Kelsey was involved in it. There was my brother's girlfriend at the time that was involved in it. Like they were asking me questions, but a majority of the live, a lot of